Okay, folks. Hey, I tell you what I'm going to do today, folks. I'm going to show you a few things about a new way that I have of Carolina rig fishing. Now, we're in a special spot. We're in some moving water. They're just starting to fill Stick Marsh and Farm 13 back up with water, and there's a lot of flow here. But I rig up a Carolina rig a little different. When I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, I'm taking a bobber stop, which I usually use for my flipping and other things, and I use it to hold my weight back. Now, this is a pretty heavy weight. That's about a 1 ounce weight. But there's a lot of current out there, and consequently, there's a gravel bottom. There's about 8 or 9 feet of water, and there's real swift water. So I'm going to take a worm, just like in this case, just a 5-inch stick worm, okay? And I'm going to throw it out across the current, not too far, and just throw it out there. Just to start with, I'll throw it out just a little ways. Now there's a good current seam. Now what I'm looking for here is actually where the current kind of moves around. There's kind of an eddy water here. It's kind of, actually the current's coming this way and then it goes around that way. So with these current seams where the water moves sideways to each other, different currents, that's usually where the fish concentrate. And so that's what I'm doing now. Now, one thing about Carolina rig fishing I want to explain is that I drag it. I don't swim it, I don't hop it, I just drag it slowly. And I have a heavy weight, just drag it along, and just kind of drag it along, and I'm feeling for a strike. I'm feeling all kind of rocks, feeling all kind of pebbles and gravel. There's a, see it go down? Oh, I missed him. Did you see my rod go down? It just started pulling back, but I missed him. That was a strike. He might have got my worm. I don't know what happened. But he had the worm. Pull it back slow and easy. Times. A lot of gravel on the bottom. Well, I had one strike on that cast. Ooh, what was that? Sometimes they just hit it and drop it. I pull it along. Anyway. And see what happens when you pull it and it gets all bunched up like this. They won't half hit it like that. So what you got to do, you got to straighten the worm out. And once it gets bunched up. Now, another good thing I want to tell you, this worm is kind of messed up on the front end, but a lot of times I'll cut just a little bit off of the tail, just a little bit, and I'll tail hook it. And that's another way of catching them as well. Just tail hook that. I spit that little thing in the boat. Okay, tail hook again. Now, get right out there and see if I can't catch another one. Okay, another strike. Right in that current seam. Let it sink down, sink to the bottom, right in that current. I'm using, in this case, it's 50-pound braid, so it's a pretty heavy line. By the way, this guy, John Paul Jackson, fished with me last year, and we were fishing down this moving water. He caught a 10.5 pounder on this rod, on this exact rod, in this exact Carolina rig setup. He caught a 10.5 pounder. So every once in a while, we get a monster trophy bass doing something like this. So anyway, we'll try it. Come on, bass. See if they'll bite it. I get a little bit more line out. Some people say, well, how much line do you have between the bobber stop? That's the nice thing about the bobber stop. You can adjust it to whatever side you want. With the swivel, it's tied in a knot, and you can't adjust the length of it. But that seems to be about the best length right there. 2.5 feet, say, maybe 3 feet. And in this case, I threw it right there, and it sunk down. There's one. There's one right there. First fish of the day. Okay, it's a good one too. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, he's a big one. Bigger. Yeah, he's a nice one. Oh yeah. Well, a couple 3 pounds. He thinks he's big. I thought he was bigger. In that current, you know, in a light spinning rod, if they, you know, these 2 and 3 pound fish seem twice as big. But you notice that fish hit the worm. I had it hooked backwards, and he hit it just fine. But I'm gonna put a new worm on. No, see, I'll try one more. Try one more worm on this backwards one. See what happens. Sometimes there's a school of fish that hang together, so I'll throw to the same spot again and see what happens. Let it down. He's caught a good one over there. He's caught a big 4 or 5 pounder over there on the other side of the levee. That's on the other side of the creek is a guide, Kenny Haas. He's got a guide party out today, and he came in from, oh, there's one. Oh, I missed him. He pulled down. Just as I was talking about Kenny's guide party, another one hit the thing. Now, what Kenny did, he went to, oh, there's one. He's taking it now. That's it, I got one. I stopped to talk about Kenny, and I got one. What Kenny did, he came around the other side of that levee right there, and what he did, he got his boat tied up over there. Okay, boys and girls, the fish are alive and well, I'm telling you. They're hitting like crazy. Carolina rigging. There's a bunch of them in that one area. Bunch of them. Okay. I'm gonna just get here and get that worm all squared away. Throw right to the. This time I'm gonna throw right to the pile. Right there. A little bit closer. He was just right here. So I'm gonna pull in right here and just put it right there. That's where he was. Holy day, it was a nice one too. Because I'll pull back, he was just going, like a big one does. But I didn't get him. There he is. I got one. I don't know if he's a big one or not. He's a pretty good fish. Oh yeah, pretty good one. I think it's that same one. Pretty nice quality bass. He's hooked good. I got a net, and for the real big fish, I'll net them. For the 3 and 4 pound fish up to about 5 pounds, I can just lift them up. But you know, you see it. This Carolina rig fish can be something. They can be really good. Now he's kind of got the hook down a little bit, so I'm going to go in and take these pliers and do my little Roland Martin trick. And that is, I take my hook, and I go through the gill, and I turn the hook backwards and right out like that. And no hook, no. I got the hook out. It's just caught the little gill here, no problem. No blood, no nothing. Just a beautiful little bass. But anyway, I don't know if there's another fish there or not. It could be the one that got me. Again, I'm gonna rehook that worm. It's kind of messed up a little bit, but that's all right. We'll see what happens. And if you notice, I didn't throw far. There's a little current seam right here. and that's where the fish hit. So I just kind of make a little short cast, like right there. So that's not far, but there's a current seam right there that I'm looking at, and that's so important to see where these current seams are. You have to kind of watch the water. When you do, just pick it up. Oh well. I'm showing you a few things about the finer points. Oh, there's one right there, right there, right there, right there. Oh gosh, he hit right at the rod tip. He hit right at the rod tip. And that was so crazy. It was just right in the water here. It was just right in front of me. It was a nice one. Well, they're all nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it real quiet. The boat's just sitting here, not making any noise. I'm just going to take this worm, and he was just right here. He was just right there. Put that thing there, and I'm just going to just see what happens. He was right here. And I'm going to catch me a big old giant bass, about 6 or 7 pounds. How about that? That'll show you something. That'll show you something. There's some big ones here. Like I mentioned before, on this same Carolina rig, John Paul Jackson caught a 10.5 right on this same rod last year. So there are a couple of monster bass in here. There's one right there. He's taking it. He's taking it. I don't know how big he is. I don't know. He's a jumper. Well, it gives you an idea of what you can do with moving water. You know, it's a Carolina rig is just golden in this kind of deal. It's really a big time deal. Now, I know this isn't a big giant bass. It's just a kind of a small one, but it just goes to show you that there are lots of action to be had here. You know, I don't always catch 10-pound bass, that's for sure. And a lot of them are this size here, but they're a lot of fun to catch. A lot of fun to catch. Again, the Carolina rig being probably the best, if not just about the best all-around lure for moving water that I know of. So again, the way I rig it up with that bobber stop and a heavy weight. That's a heavy tungsten weight. That's a heavy 1 ounce weight. A lot of current, however. Big 4/0 EWG hook. Big old saltwater spinning rod. Hey folks, I hope I've showed you a few things about how I fish moving water and how I fish the Carolina rig, because it's really an important tool for my fishing. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Hit that likes button. I tell you, booyah, and all my friends and all my people at O'Reilly's and Bass Pro Shop and Mercury and everybody else, and Power Pole. My Power Pole trolling motor, it's holding just so perfect. It's just a wonderful system. Hey, so folks, we'll see you again next week, and I'll come back with a good video, show you a few things about how I catch a bass or two. Thanks for watching.